It's incredibly nice to be in your country. Unfortunately, our cultures and our languages are so different that it's impossible to get your feelings through your language, as probably you cannot get my feelings through my original language. My native language is Italian, and I can present myself in a few words in my language. Buonasera, io sono Italo Vignoli. So this is how my language looks, and it's so different from yours. But I think what makes free open source software unique is that it can put together different cultures and different background in a way that is absolutely transparent. Yesterday at the dinner, we had people from at least 3 continents, and we had people from several countries, and there was no feeling of difference between us. And that, I think, is the end of different religions, because we had Muslims, we had Christians, we had Buddhists from, and probably others that I don't know from Asia. But there's no real barrier between ourselves. So I'm proud to be speaking here. I hope it won't be the last time that someone from, let's call it the core of TDF, will visit your country. You're warmly invited to visit Europe when possible, and when you do that, drop us a line. We will be happy to show the best of Europe. This is not a touristic advertising, of course. And I just want to start with a few maps. Many people know that my background is in geography. I'm a geographer. So, and I'm in technology and software just by chance. In addition to the fact that they don't pay geographers and you have to get a salary at the end of the month. So I start with a few maps. Maps that some people have already seen, that will show you what the lack of investment in open source software have created in terms of unbalance in the world. So this is the typical map that everyone knows, where each country is represented by the surface. So of course Japan is similar in surface, is a little bit bigger, but this is my country, Italy. Japan is a little bit bigger, but not that much. If we switch to population, you see that Japan is a lot bigger than Italy because there are more Japanese than Italian. But for instance, look at India, look at China, how big they are because the number of people is there. And look at how smaller is South America, how small is Canada. That is a huge country. And let's go to something that is interesting for us. It's export of software licenses. Okay? So you have a big one, which I will not even tell the name because everyone knows that. This is Ireland. Ireland in Europe is kind of a bridge between the States and Europe. So all large American corporations have an office in Ireland that import their software and then export the software to all of Europe, because Ireland has very low taxes. You think that this is, what is this bubble? This is Suriname. Suriname is a very tiny country in South America that has the same function of Ireland for South America. So it's a former Dutch colony where taxes are 4%. So of course Microsoft and Oracle, they ship to Suriname, and from Suriname they ship to the other countries in South America. So this is really unbalanced. See where Africa is. see where all your countries are. I mean, it's like you're disappearing from the world. And this is unfortunately, this is an unfortunate situation. It's not because we want Americans not to export software, but we would like to have a more balanced situation. And now look at the import. So the import is exactly the opposite. Look at how Japan is big, look at how Italy is big. Ireland is big because they import a lot of software to export a lot of software. And I can show you where the United States are. United States are 1 pixel line between Mexico and Canada. So they don't exist in terms of import of software licenses. Let's just think and imagine how the world would be different if there was more free software, which is usually developed locally, or if not entirely developed locally, is partially done locally. So this is something that when we started the project, so this is our paper plane. This is, we started in 2010 and we said we have a dream. In 2020 we would like to have 200 million users and we would like to have made a dent in the software industry. I think we have made it. We have already reached, according to our estimate, the target, but we're still behind in our idealistic objective. We have an heritage of 10 years, OpenOffice. Many of the people that have founded the LibreOffice project were active in the OpenOffice community. I know that in Japan, some people were active, but some have left or are not active anymore. But the idea when we started was to build on a very strong history. We have a strong background. OpenOffice was born in 1984. If you will look back at the history when Marco Burris released the first product. We have almost 30 and close to 40 years of history behind us. OpenOffice was started in the year 2000. And in the history of the project, there are some issues that were then tackled and solved by LibreOffice. For instance, this is OpenOffice in 2000, the year 2000. So this is basically the code and the repositories. And in 2005, probably in Hamburg, developers, they eat a lot of fat stuff, so OpenOffice was like this. It was a little bit fat. In 2006, at the Lyon conference, there was a presentation by the OpenOffice guide, and they said, okay, we understand that the community is not happy in some areas, so we will reduce code complexity. Not done by LibreOffice. We will improve patch handling. At the time, there was the famous patch from Kohei Yoshida that sat for 28 months before being merged. So a patch that sits in a branch for 28 months is something that is really unacceptable. Luckily, the patch was so advanced that after 28 months it was still good. But 28 months are one generation in technology. And then mentoring newbies, and this is something that with LibreOffice we have managed to do. So go quickly through the history. In 2009, Oracle acquired Sun. The people in the community were already a little bit unhappy on how Sun was managing the situation. So we quickly decided that it was the right time to fork, to do something to renew what it was impossible to manage that. And we tried to do this. So OpenOffice was here, and the reality that at that time was the risk of abandonment by Oracle was huge. And we were right when we said that it was abandoned. So we have launched LibreOffice, and you know that LibreOffice today has a record of development and releases over close to 10 years. We have regularly release at a major release twice a year. We had a regularly minor release every month and a half. So the product is maintained regularly. And we had, in my religion, they had a Last Supper, and that was not a lucky situation. So we prefer to say that we had the first supper, was in Budapest on September 2, 2010. These are basically the people that founded the project. There were a few others that were already around the project, and for instance, Lothar is one of them. But these are the guys that really discussed how to put together the new project. You may know some of them. This is Florian Effenberger. This is Christoph Noack. He's the guy that chose green as the color. Christoph did the design, then he had a baby, he changed his work, so he left the project, but his contribution was fundamental. Charles Schulz from France is still around. Candy, or Jan Olesowski, Candy is a lot simpler. Thorsten Behrens, Michael Mix, Colin McNamara, this is me. Sophie, I don't remember his name, anyway, was one, he changed work as well after. Andrea, yeah, exactly. Kornaus, Olivier Hallot, and Leif Lodal from Copenhagen. So we were the guys that did the fork. And so we created, this was the announcement, and we said, you know, we have the target in 2020, which is nice, it's next year. So we are 9 years on the road. And these are then the history, these are the forks, you know that then there is Apache OpenOffice, the unfortunate story of IBM choosing a competitive product with a free software product. But corporations do not, at least in Europe, I don't know how it is in Japan, but at least in Europe and in the United States, corporations do not like community. And they especially do not like community members as me. I'm very straightforward when and if I think that you're doing something wrong, I tell you that you're doing something wrong. So I repeatedly told Sun during the previous years that they were doing something wrong, and they didn't really appreciate that much my transparency. So we reverted the paradigm. This is OpenOffice, a company that protects the project. So it's like when it rains, if you are under the umbrella, you don't get wet. If you are outside the umbrella, you get wet. We reverted the umbrella. This is the concept of the mixing bowl. So in the United States, they say that if you put all the ingredients of a salad and you mix them very well, the salad is better. So it has a better flavor. At least in my country, we say that we jump on a boat and we have everyone has to row in the same direction. It's probably something similar in other European countries. I don't know which kind of metaphor you use in Asia, but the concept is simple. This is the community that decides and where to go, and everyone is empowered to provide this contribution. This was the homepage, the first homepage, and the founding principle are copyleft license. We use, now we went from LGPL to MPL, no contributor agreement, based on meritocracy, governance by the community, and independence from vendors. In our statutes, not and in the board of directors, there cannot be more than 30% of votes from representative of a single company. And when we launched, many people saw our project like a kind of protest against Oracle. It was not a protest against Oracle. It was a project to build something new. There was an article in UK that said that we were the strikers, so we wanted to strike against Oracle. No, that's completely wrong. We wanted to promote free software, user freedom, document freedom, open standards, and of course to develop LibreOffice. Then we have added another project that is document liberation, that is the project that takes care of filters to import and export documents. And these are the numbers. So we have 206 members. We have, and by the way, I know that in the audience today there is people that is not yet TDF members, and so I expect by the end of next week to see the application of all the people that are not TDF member and sitting here. I'm a close friend of the president of the membership committee. He's Italian as well. His name is Gabriele Ponzo. So I will tell Gabriele, tell me who has sent the application. Who has not sent the application, we know where you live. Okay? And this is not really but take it seriously. And our main asset are developers. We don't have many developers from Asia. I hope there will be more. There are some. Thank you for your work, because developers are precious. Without developers, there won't be the project, because there won't be a product. Because the reality is that we have a fantastic product that gives us the opportunity of not only being here and talk between us, but also to go to governments and talk to governments and be proud of what we propose to governments, because we have a product that is able to replace any proprietary software with an advantage for the people that use it. This is the number of developers. If you look at the dark green are the old developers, so those that were already in the project. But as you can see, this is from 2010 to end of 2016. Then we stopped counting them because there are so many that it doesn't make, at first there was the criticism from some that said, oh, they will not attract developers, they will miss developers. So we don't lack developers, this is the reality. After we were at close 1,200 developers committing to the product, we said we stopped counting them because it doesn't make any sense. What we wanted to show, it was already in this chart. And what are doing developers? We have a core of 40 paid or unpaid, but mostly paid by companies that do the more solid work. We have a number of regulars, and some of the developers that are in this room are the regulars. They do a very important work. And then we have occasionals, but occasionals that replace each other every year. So at the end we have around 300 developers on a yearly basis, which means that the product has a very solid background. And these are commits this year, in 2019. As you can see, of course, there are Saturdays, Sundays, vacations for people, but it's rather solid. This is just before the announcement of LibreOffice 6.2. That was so, of course, there is a spike of activities around announcements. And these are contributions by organization. So many developers are employed by companies. So this is the patches from Collabora. These are from Red Hat. Unknown is not a nice way to say volunteers. It would be better volunteers, but as they are not backed by a company, we use the word unknown. Then there is CIB, TDF are people employed by TDF, and then there are small chunks done by others. But what is important to see in this slide is that there is not one single company or group doing more than 50%. That would put the project at a risk, because if the 50% goes away, then the rest of the project would not be able to keep the project alive. And we are at our fourth development cycle. We started at 3.3, and that was code cleaning. Then 4 was code refactoring. So we redeveloped what was already in the product, but was not really optimized. Then we work at the user interface. We still work at the user interface, but the reality is that at the 6, we have productivity, although we are not happy with the mobile application, but LibreOffice is the only free office suite that it's running on every platform. So it means that it's running on Windows, macOS, Linux, the cloud, and mobile. The only one that gets closed because misses only Linux is Microsoft Office, but all the others miss the mobile or something in the other, so they don't have a cloud version. And LibreOffice Online, there have been talks today, and it's very important. Of course, we have to explain to people that we give the engine, the enabling technology. We don't provide the infrastructure simply because the infrastructure has a cost that is impossible to stand for a not-for-profit foundation. And we do amazingly well quality. So we use Coverity Scan, which is a weekly service that allows us to clean the code. We use OS Fast from Google. We use all the tools that are available to improve the quality of the code. If you look at the numbers, if you look at the Coverity Scan reports, LibreOffice is probably the productivity software with the lowest number of issues for 1,000 lines of code. We are well below names like Firefox, we are well below names like Thunderbird, Chromium, which are considered very stable software. This means that, of course, it doesn't mean that we are bug-free. Bug-free software does not exist, but we have a very solid foundation for the code. And of course, the community is, as developers, are a strong asset. The community is the second one, because if you don't have developers, you don't have the product, but if you don't have the community, you don't have language versions, you don't have promotion in local markets. So the community is fantastic, and is something that we should all be proud of being part of. And this is the community in, sorry, Nigeria is missing, but I will add immediately. It's impossible to know all the places where we are present. This is, in some cases, our best guesses based on information that we can get from the network. Of course, Africa is one of the top priorities for the foundation, because we know that there is a need for software in that continent, and the problem is that it's probably difficult in terms of culture to explain some realities, but as you know, as you see, the communities in all over the Americas, In Central Americas, I think we have a community that there's no evidence, like in some other countries, but in Asia we are almost in any country. And it's important to develop where we don't see a community, and it's important to develop the community in countries where the community is not to the level of, as in other countries. For instance, we were discussing about how to raise the community in India, and I think that China as well is important. Luckily we have Chinese speaking people in the community. They are Taiwanese, but they speak the same language. So of course this can help a lot, because we have already a basis for the Chinese community. India, I think, is a complex country, because it's so big, so many people. They have many local languages, so it's and it's difficult. In addition to this, being at these conferences for us is so important, because we learn a lot on how the community works outside our original community. So Europe is such a small, if you look, this is the entire continent, is smaller than China, smaller than Russia, is probably smaller than Australia, and this is a continent. So of course in Europe, where the project was born, community is really looks alike in every country. The differences are really minor, apart from languages, but differences in the way you develop the community are very small. While the community works in different ways in your geographies, just because we have very strong but very different cultures. And we respect all the cultures. I was in Indonesia last year, and I think that the Indonesians have done a wonderful work in growing the community. They started 2.5 years, 3 years ago, but now they have a community that is self-sustaining. They are organizing events, local events. They are attracting more people, because of course in a community you have people that come and go, and you cannot bet on the fact that people is staying here forever. And this is the activity of the community. These are, just to give you, this is the core, these are the regular people, and these are the casual people. This is based just on the commit or the number of emails that are sent. This is the dashboard of the Document Foundation. You can access it at dashboard.documentfoundation.org, so you can check it for yourself, and you can filter the data to see according to your interest. And of course, last asset is LibreOffice. Open source software is now adopted by the majority, but still we have to do a lot to make people aware about open source software. If we look at Google Trends, LibreOffice is this one, so these are the last 12 months. Brazil is the country where most research are coming from, but of course, if we look at more details, this is very general, it's Google Trends, so it's based on searches. But if we look at other measurement methods, for instance, in Asia you see Japan having probably the largest share, and I will show the slides about Asia in a few minutes. User-based estimate, as I said, we are estimating around 200 million users, so this is more or less how we estimate the numbers. So there are between 2 and 3 billion users, PC users. We say that we have 100% of desktop Linux. Maybe it's not 100, but it's 99 by 9. We have 10% of desktop Windows and 10% of desktop macOS. So if you sum all the figure is 236 million, and we say, okay, we are conservative, we say we have 200 million. It's probably 100 million are unique users, the other 100 million are using also another software. So they may be using Microsoft Office or other Office suites or other specific software. We provide two versions, fresh versus still. We deliberately do not use the word stable, because the reality is that they are both stable, but let's say that one is newer than the other, or if you want, the still is the more tested by users. Of course, when we suggest which version to use, we usually suggest the older one, because not because the newer one creates issues, but because you never know who are the users. So it's better to start with a more tested version, and then, if necessary, move to the next one, but instead of the opposite. And this is more or less gives you the numbers. Remember that on LibreOffice still we have LTS options. So there are two companies, they are both sitting on the advisory board. They provide an LTS version. So if you meet a government or a corporation that wants to get a product that is optimized for their need, they're not getting a better product, they get a product that is optimized. So they have support, they have backporting of patches. For instance, we do not backport patches over 9 months. So when the software is 9 months old, you don't get any security patch anymore. While on LTS version, you get security patch backported for 5 years. So let's say that you could update the software after 5 years instead of doing it every 6-9 months. That can be an issue in some cases. This is LibreOffice Online Writer, this is LibreOffice Online Calc. They work amazingly well. They're solid, and they save in ODF, and ODF is important. What can we do in the future? The future, we can together, but only if we do that together, we can really build a global ecosystem. And contributing means sharing. We are all, and let me make a note about the language here. Unfortunately, we don't speak the same language all over the world. This is in one sense a pity, because we have communication issues, but it's the beauty because each language represents our culture. So we are forced to use English as a kind of global language. English is not my native language. I'm a decent English speaker, but English is not my native language. With my wife, she's there, we speak Italian. We don't speak English between ourselves. So I totally understand, and the effort that you make looking how you write your language, the effort that you make, it's amazing to speak English that is based on our Western way of writing. So we are amazed by the fact that you are managed to speak such a language, but don't be shy. We want to, if you know 3 words of English, use those 3 words of English. We want to understand you. Don't consider English as a barrier. It is not. If necessary, start to do science. We Italians are very good at dancing on the floor, so do the same. Because that, communicating is more important than judging the others on language skills. And let's look at a few numbers on Asia. So these are visits to the download page. I can give you visits to other, but this is important because it's visits to download page. So these are the continent. As you can see, Europe is still quite high. Asia is divided in East Asia, Central Asia. We have to improve because still Europe and North America are still, they have the lion's share. These are from Asia area. So you have East Asia, Central Asia, South Asia, Southeast Asia, and Western Asia. Of course, this probably tells you a lot more than what it tells to me, because you know the reality of your continent. And these are the countries. Of course, I had to create an others because there is a very long tail of countries, but you have India, then you have Japan and Indonesia, then you have China, Turkey, Philippines, Taiwan, Thailand, South Korea, Saudi Arabia, Malaysia, Hong Kong, Vietnam, Pakistan, Singapore, and Israel, and the other one are 6%. As you can see, there are imbalance in terms of, so this does not reflect the potential number of users of your countries. Of course, I'm happy to see Japan here, but Japan has 1/10 of the inhabitants of India. So India should have a lot more downloads than Japan. I mean, don't stop downloading you, but let's have the Indians increasing the downloads. And that's, I like what this guy, because I'm an old man, so most of the times I'm the oldest in the building. I don't know if I'm the oldest here because I'm not able to judge you as I would be able to judge a European, but I'm 65. So I don't think there are many younger people than me, and I think you're never too old to have another goal and to dream a new dream. So I want to stay here for years again to help younger people to grow up in the community. I think that is very important for someone that has experience to transfer the experience to the younger people. So my dream, this is FOSS today. This is people that know free and open source software. These are those that use, but in many cases they use but they don't know. For instance, many use VLC on their mobile phones and they don't think it's free software. And these are the people that refuse. And my dream is tomorrow to say, these are the people that know, these are the people that use, and these are the people that refuse. This, I mean, we cannot get rid of those, unfortunately. That's all for my part of the speech. And there is Lothar now that will add a few important remarks about certification, how to build a business around LibreOffice.
So thank you very much. Before I introduce myself, my name is Lothar Becker. I want to tell you that I have now 3 challenges. The first one is, it's my first stay in Asia in my life. And I'm very honored to be here in the LibreOffice Conference Asia. And the second one is, it's also the first time in my life that I do a presentation, and I'm used to do presentation before my wife. So please be kind with me, she will judge me afterwards. And the third one is, to speak after Italo. It's a challenge because he's so good in making presentations, and I won't stress you too much. I will hurry up a little bit to join the 6 o'clock. So, first of all, let's have a look a little bit on the business side. I want to speak a little bit about certifying as a LibreOffice professional and why this is a win-win-win situation for the community. And perhaps let me have a few words to myself. This is all the formal stuff, but as Italo mentioned, the history of Star Office and OpenOffice, me and my company, Lease Applications, was the first migration partner of Sun in Europe. So we have done the first, or one of the first migration projects in the early 2000s. It was 2001, something about this. That we have gathering together with the staff of Sun and spoke with them about how can we bring OpenOffice, first Star Office and then OpenOffice, to professional users as a deployment in a professional environment. And this is now 17, 18 years we have changed the product to LibreOffice. So this is the track record I have in business with and around OpenOffice and LibreOffice. So let me focus on the community, and I want to bring in a part of the community which is not always recognized, but which we all know that it is a very important part of the community. It's the third group of stakeholder. It's the ecosystem around the product we have. The first group are first and foremost all users around them. They are private, they are professional, even if they use LibreOffice offline, as we know everybody, and the new one since a few years online, LibreOffice Online, we have heard it a lot of times. And the second one is the community. We often spoke about the community. It's the worldwide participants to develop the product. Everybody who brings in some contributions to the product is meant that we speak with the community. But there's also the ecosystem which is needed to guarantee the support, the professional support and services for these professional environments, what we want to discuss. So, as we start conversation for thinking about business in also in Asia, there was the question, how do we get business around LibreOffice? Is it like a genesis? Is it from dust coming out? Perhaps Italy is saying bang, and there are some big migration projects to LibreOffice with professional deployments, and there are some chicken who doing this ecosystem, and everything is fine for the next hundreds of years. You know, we all know. I don't want to harm any religious feelings by that, but we all know that this is not the kind or the way it will happen. So what could be the way it could happen? And this is what I want to mention in this talk. What brings LibreOffice and some kind of community we have with some kind of business and ecosystem and some kind of projects to a very vital one where we have chicken, where we have eggs, and growing up more and more over the time. And the question is, what are the catalysts, what are the criteria to grow that up to have a vital ecosystem around LibreOffice? As I recap my slides this morning, I was a little bit concerned about this slide. Because to bring in here in Asia the role model of Europe, or in this case Germany, I felt a little bit that this is misplaced. Why? Well, ecosystem with and around LibreOffice is services. It's most about services support. And what we discovered the last 2 days is that the culture of services here in Asia is a lot higher and better than that we have in Europe. So I'm feeling a little bit concerned to bring in this example of how it can work. But perhaps we can take the catalysts, I've marked them in green, LibreOffice green, color, which are the criteria which I think could be catalysts for bringing up more business around. So let's have a look what has happened in Germany. There were some anchor persons and some local community there which start doing some business. So it's all about you and me. There must be some person who say, yes, we do it. And that's very, very important. In the German case, Ito mentioned some names. There was Thomas Grumper, Jacqueline, Florian, as we all know, Thorsten, and other persons around that. There were, or beloved or not beloved, an anchor company who care about the product. It was in the early stage, the Star Division. Afterwards it was Sun. I have a lot of talk with Michael Bemmer around all these community issues. See it as a good or bad catalyst, but there were anchor companies who want to make business with it. Third one, there were lighthouse projects. Not many projects, but I remember that in the early 2000s, I was talking to the city of Munich about the whole migration to Linux and in this stage OpenOffice, and it ran over years that they decided to do that. So some lighthouse projects are important that other which are thinking about to migrate see that there are some role models for it. Especially in our German case, there were a lot of public affairs administrations who were thinking about turning away from Microsoft Office to LibreOffice. And why did they? Because there was a depression in the ecosystem. There was somewhere a cost sensitivity, which we heard in all over talks I heard today, the cost sensitivity about license costs, awareness about a vendor login in the long consequences are also cost arguments, and awareness about the open document format, a technical issue to be a side of these vendor login. So these were catalysts. There were some people, as I mentioned, besides some who want to make business with it, who sell services support for the software. And afterwards, we developed this certifying process for acknowledge some companies, some people in these companies that they were doing qualified service for this product. And this is the only thing, if you see the others, you can check for Asia. I think there are some anchor persons here in the room for Asia who are promoting these product, like Franklin, like Shinji here in Japan, like others, sorry to be not to mention everybody, but there are anchor persons and the local community who is a catalyst for that. I think I've heard some anchor companies or some lighthouse projects as the CTC from Taiwan, as fans from Indonesia, and others we heard today, which could be the lighthouse projects as catalysts here for the ecosystem in Asia. I don't know if there's something like a kind of depression in Asia, but I know, and you have mentioned it in the talks, that there's a cost sensitive and a sensitivity for the login issue in Asia. So what we can do from Europe or from all the community, the ecosystem community, we could help you with these certifying issues. Let me give just a short introduction to this certifying, LibreOffice certifying process. If you are interested, I can tell you that we have tomorrow these business workshops and review sessions, so ask me questions about that tomorrow. If please be kind, I can explain the whole process in this few minutes, but just a few words. There are 4 profiles for, or we think there are 4 profiles for certifying. There are professional certified developers, there are professional migration consultants, there are trainers, professional trainers with a known profile, and perhaps somewhere in the future we will have a known profile for certified support consultant. But we cover this support profile, I think, a part of it in the migration and a part of it in the trainer skills. And this is these are the profiles about the kind of process to get certified. The profile of development is a little bit slightly different from the others, from the other 2. Developers are invited by the engineering steering committee, so they are recognized for giving contributions to the source code. And if you have done some of these contributions, they recognize you as a developer who can master the code. And then you will be invited, and if you want to be listed as a certified developer, and if you say yes, you will be listed. And quite different is the certification for migration and training. To be short in the process, we certify people, not companies. And as a consultant for migration or as a trainer, you should have some experience in this area for training or for migrating to LibreOffice. Then you should show this experience, for example, with some documents to the committee, applicate to this certifying role with these documents, and it will be reviewed by the committee. And if it is acknowledged that it seems to be that you are a little bit experienced in this area, you get invited to do such a review session, which we are doing tomorrow here in these rooms with 3 or 4 candidates. And if the committee of reviewers, normally 3 or 4 out of these committees, say yes, we trust this quality of service of this person, you get these certifying. So why it is, in short words, why is this helping? Or why is this a win-win in the community for the stakeholders? So I think it's easy to understand. Out of the customer side, of the professional user side, it's good to have such contacts, such a list, where you, if you need such an certified service, where you can have contact persons, where you can ask, and you know that they are valued with trust from the community. So mainly the customer, the users are gaining quality of services out of these certification areas. The community, everybody who is in the contribution group, the typical win is that we get out of these certified people certainly ideas how we can develop the product ahead, especially ahead in the way for using it in a professional environment. Integration issues, compatibility issues, and so on. And the third win is typically for the applicant, because you as certified people are listed in an official list of the TTF, of the LibreOffice online website, where everybody can see that you are certified migrator, certified trainer, or something like this. And certainly the win is working in such an awesome community like we enjoy here. So, domo arigato. Thank you very much for your attention. Do we take questions? Or? One or two questions, if there are?
One or two questions. One question.
Okay, it's 6 o'clock, so I think if you have questions and take part tomorrow, come to me, come to Italo, and we will help you with this application. Thank you very much.